The Doctor Who Alhambra podcast. Real Doctor Who fans with real Doctor Who opinions.
Hello and welcome to the Doctor Who Alhambra podcast, episode 322 of the podcast. I am Brett, and this is a Space Babies, solo edition of the podcast. Yes, I am going to be looking at and reviewing and giving spoilers on the Space Babies, the first episode of season 1. Actually, according to how Disney Plus is labeling this is actually episode 2, as The Church on Ruby Road is actually episode 1. This is going to be spoiler-filled. There is not going to be a discussion of the Devil's Cord. I will get into that. Also, stay tuned for the next podcast or a future podcast, because Liam and Legion will be reviewing both of these stories, Space Babies, Devil's Cord, and also Boom. I will be reviewing Boom, but we will get into the Devil's Cord at a later point in time in the podcast. So, that being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy. It is going to be, I think, an enjoyable ride. If you'd like to email the show, please email the show at alhambraaudio@gmail.com. You can tweet the show at Alhambra Podcast. DMs are open. So with that, I want to just kind of discuss, and I want to before I do any discussion, I think this is very, very important to get out of the way, because after watching the first episode, second episode, depending on Disney Plus, on Disney Plus for the low price of $2, that because of Black Friday. Thank you very much, Black Friday. Not giving Disney anything more than that. But that's besides the point. Again, sorry, got distracted. We have an article from the UK Doctor Who ratings website, the doctorwhotv.co.uk. Now, I think this is very important, and I think it is very interesting to kind of peel back the layers. And because, at least on YouTube, I noticed that there is lots of either victory laps or laughy face emojis, which I will tell you, huge fan of, by the way. But I think that there is more to everything compared to what we got on doctorwhotv.co.uk. And so this gives you the 2024 episode ratings breakdown from episode 1, which is not The Church on Ruby Road, mind you. It is Space Babies, all the way to the Christmas special for 2024. So keep that in mind. That is what they are doing. That is what they are tracking. And you can, and I have seen on YouTube a couple of victory laps, laughing emojis and whatnot, revolving around the overnight viewing figures. Now, before I want to look at what is considered the overnight viewing figure, and also kind of, again, peel back the layers and discuss, not ad nauseum, but just kind of my feelings revolving around these incomplete numbers and why there's nothing to worry about, but there's also nothing to celebrate here currently. So, like it is known, the U.S. got a traditional British TV series first. So, you can just go up to the Magic Kingdom, find Mickey Mouse, fall down at his shoes, and either thank him if that is what you would like to, or slap him across the face. I do not indulge or encourage the second or latter. So anybody who does that on their own free will, and their legal ramifications of those decisions are not on me, on you. Anyway, that being said, we have the overnight figures from doctorwhotv.co.uk, and it is, I think, what's going to be really interesting is the 7-day consolidation, because again, first off, it came out on Disney Plus first, compared in America and all non-UK countries before it came out to the UK country, the origin of Doctor Who. So I can understand and do understand the problem with that situation right there. Second, you have the US audience, and I don't know the difference between rollout time and whatnot, but you do have the US audience being able to rip and throw it on a pirate site. So you do have that also to contend with at the same time. Additionally, you have those people in the UK that might have a VPN and be using and checking out Disney Plus first. So I think they're revolving around some of these viewing figures for the first 2 episodes of season 1 of Doctor Who. I think there is a couple of things that we need to, throw out there as caveats for why the numbers are what they are. Secondly, this, from my understanding, is and was available on the iPlayer before it was, shown live to a, family audience at, I think, 7 o'clock on BBC One. So again, there's a different ability to watch it from my understanding. I'm not sure if that's correct or not, but that was my understanding, that it was available on the iPlayer. And then because I did see it on Twitter at one point in time, how are you going to be watching this? Live, iPlayer, Disney Plus, sometime, some way in the near distant future. And a lot of people were, it's probably a UK Twitter account. I think they posted, essentially, iPlayer, which I think is understandable, because if you can get it the moment you wake up on Saturday, why not start your day off with that instead of waiting until prime time viewing? So I think there's a couple of caveats that need to be discussed and brought out before anybody who is wanting to laugh at the lack of viewing numbers. I think there's a lot of things that go into that. So it's going to be also quite interesting to find out the 7-day consolidated, because all we got on DoctorWhoTV.co.uk is it consists of the TV ratings only, or those who decided to record it through their, I think, iPlayer or whatever recording device. So that is what this number is. This is not iPlayer viewers. That will be into the 7-day consolidated thing. So again, that 7-day consolidated 7 days from now, or at least of time of recording, will be something to really focus on. I do not like the +4 screens, because again, that's the final consolidation figures, which accounts for watching it on tablets, PCs, and whatnot. I think that there could be some, I don't know. I don't know why that's considered into that. Anyway, I'm just going to go through this and then discuss my thoughts and feelings about this. So Space Babies, episode 1, or episode 2, depending on where you're watching it. The overnight rating for that was 2.6 million viewers. Now, again, there's lots of people that have made YouTube videos laughing at that number, saying, wow, that is abysmal. But again, this was available to stream on the iPlayer, again, per my understanding, before watching it live. So I think the 7-day consolidated numbers are actually going to be your more consistent numbers. And I kind of like this experiment that they're doing with this. I think it's going to be quite interesting. But at the same time, I know it's going to be experimental. It's going to be different. I think the way that we track things is going to vary from time to time. And I think that this is going to be a really interesting season to follow and mark per episode rating, overnight viewing, 7, consolidated, whatnot. However, episode 2, The Devil's Cord, lost 200,000 viewers on day of review or watching. Now, there's 2 ways you can look at this. And there is the one way is you had an audience of 2.6 million watching live, and then 200,000 people changed the channel for episode 2. That initially is not a good sign. However, again, what you could say is, well, they watched it. I would love to know, and I'm not in the UK, what is the show or series or movie or whatever that was playing on an hour later? Because generally it is a 1 hour viewing time. This is double releases. So you can either say there's something more interesting, it was a bedtime or whatnot, or there is something competing with it an hour later. So it was 2.6 for Space Babies. Something was competing with it, drop of 200,000 viewers. It could be interesting to figure out which one that is. For me personally, and here is why I'm reviewing Space Babies and not The Devil's Cord, is I watched Space Babies. I did not like Space Babies, and I did not want to watch The Devil's Cord. I will give you a hint also. I will be watching the next episode, Boom, because I'm curious what we're going to get from Stephen Moffat. I'm going to, I think it's episode 6, the one that is written by 2 brand new writers. Again, you can say, oh, Loki. Yeah, sure. Okay, what else have you done for me? Where's your Doctor Who card? Sorry for calling for it. I'm nothing but consistent regarding my questioning of writers, their allegiances and whatnot. I don't have confidence in episode 6, but I'm going to be curious to watch it to figure out what exactly these 2 brand new writers to Doctor Who will contribute, if anything at all. And I am going in incredibly skeptical about episode 6. Maybe, perhaps, the trailer for episode 7 and 8, the final 2-parter, might be something of interest. But I as I go through my review, spoiler heavy, mind you, of the Space Babies, just know that within the first 15 minutes, I messaged the group, Liam and Legion. I was like, I got through this, WTF, like 15 minutes. What is going on? And so I'm not gonna have a whole bunch of audio, but I will be playing some stuff and reacting to it and I'd love to get your thoughts. Again, email the show at alhambraaudio@gmail.com, tweet the show at Alhambra Podcast. That is ALHAMBRA Podcast. On Twitter, DMs are open. So before I get to the breakdown of episode 1 or 2, Space Babies, I want to just pause and give you something that I found pretty, at least in my opinion, very funny. So this is from a Twitter account called The Mind Probe, and it said, Chris Chibnall came to Doctor Who with a vision. And you know what? I bet you're sitting there scratching your head, most of you, and be like, a vision. Yes, Chris Chibnall came to Doctor Who with a vision, something that had never been done before. And that is, what if we made a series where all the episodes are bad? And this Twitter handle said, and boy, did he deliver. So I love that. I think that's hysterically funny. I just wanted to, pause a moment of levity and whatnot. And here is the most interesting thing that I want to discuss also before I get into the reviews. And that is a tweet from the Radio Times shortly after the Space Babies was released. It says, what do you think of Space Babies? Drop a word review below. And I will tell you, this got ratioed horribly. A lot of disappointing, sloppy, interesting, awful, underwhelming. You got fun, fair, bonkers but good, poopy face emoji, which I particularly care for, meh, rubbish, poor, like daft and over the top. So, ratio, obviously, more comments than there is likes. This has 599 comments. I understand that they asked for comments, but only 479 likes revolving around Space Babies on this Radio Times article. So they got ratioed with this. Another post from the Timescales, which we use often, says it's common news that people will actually vomit at the excitement of a Taylor Swift midnight new album drop or concert. I was so excited about Doctor Who, but I did not puke. What I saw today is not Doctor Who. It is a Disney version of something that will fail. Now, I think, and I love getting that. I love that the Timescales not only follows us, but it is also a place where we kind of go and figure out the pulse of the fan community. I love it. There is a comic book site called League of Comic Geek, which I thought was pretty good. I was listening to some commentary on that, and you always wonder why there's certain series that are elevated so high. And it is, I guess, unbeknownst to me, understanding that at times comics that are not doing well have their messages deleted. I don't feel as though the Timescales does that. I feel as though it is a fan-run website that wants to honest reviews to discuss Big Finish audios as well as books, audio dramas, and whatnot. And so I appreciate the Timescales for their discussion. And so here's what I'm going to do. I am going to find this, and I will tell you. So upon starting the Doctor Who Space Babies, I will tell you, I will try not to say that because Ncuti Gatwa's doctor said that way too many times. And I can hear Matt Smith say it and kind of have fun with it. I can hear David Tennant's doctor say it and have fun with it. Like I said on the previous podcast, and I think it is also, at least for me, evident in this first episode, I don't think Ncuti Gatwa is a good actor, or he is not a good Doctor Who actor. And I know that might be it's unfair this early, but it's not just the voice acting. It is his movement. There is more gymnastic, swift pulls of certain things instead of fun, adventurous, like even Jodie when she would pull, the lever on the TARDIS Council. I feel as though she did it with some wonder. He does it with acrobatics, and I feel as though over the top. And it's more in the voice does not sell me as the doctor, but the body language also does not. I know a lot of people, I was looking at this on Twitter, and again, a lot of people are, the show ended 2017. Some people say the show ended 1989. And you know what? I honor everybody's opinion. If you like this, if you like Ncuti, I am happy for you. I will tell you, I'm not impressed so far. And when I compare and contrast this episode with the Partners in Crime episode, I understand that there's needed to be a less info dumping there, but that episode was fun, and it dealt with, weight loss and also medical malpractice and a whole bunch of stuff. You could say this one dealt with abortion, but the difference between the two of them is one was a fun alien adventure story, and initially this one was kind of in your face. And again, the difference between classic Doctor Who and especially the Chibnall era and this one right here is we didn't have a 24-hour news cycle with the classic Doctor Who series where things were not as, or maybe it was not written so overtly. And I will tell you that went into that was not a factor of me not liking it. It made me cringe because it's just like, oh, there's the message right there. Oh, look, they're smiling and pointing to a sign. Message. But What really had me initially not liking this was the over info dumping. I thought we, got over some of this with basically purging David Tennant's 14th Doctor. He is the curmudgeon now. He is this. And I felt as though there was so much unnecessary info dumping. And I'm going to play this. So
it's called the TARDIS.
Ooh, nice. But hold on, I can't call you Doctor. No, I want to know your name.
Yeah, that's tricky. Because I was adopted, and the planet that took me in, they were kind of posh. They used titles like the Doctor or the Bishop or the Rani or the Conquistador.
So I'm going to pause right there. So I noticed on a Reddit post, a lot of people were very excited about the Rani name drop right there. Some people were like, where's the Master name drop right there? Why is that not there? Bishop, Conquistador, whatever, I'm okay. Maybe that's going to be a future Time Lord person that we're going to see in the future. Maybe, who knows? Again, they still continue on with the Timeless Child storyline. The whole, according to where the universe is right now, the universe is still in tatters because of the bedazzled villains from series 13 or whatever, or 14. I don't know. Whatever it was. Flux. There we go. Thank you, Brain. Thank you, Brain. Anyway, so you had that right there. And I really, really struggled with, them continuing on with the Chibnall master plan, which, and, according to an article, RTD is basically doing it because him and Chibnall are friends. Okay, I don't care if you are best friends. If your best friend writes a turd of a story, like, you can still be friends, but you can, if your friendship is that stable and you can, divulge from said friend's plan. It's only somebody who is that weak, mentally, probably, for somebody to have such an issue with altering their plans. But that is just my opinion. Anyway, so I didn't particularly care for that. There was lots of info dumping right there. We get into the whole Time Lord situation, which again is just, and when I resume, it just gets to me super, super cringy. I don't particularly care for it.
Say Doctor for 1,000 years and it becomes my name.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to pause right there again because according to Chris Chibnall, which maybe RTD didn't watch much of the Chibnall era, according to the Chibnall era, the Doctor and the Master went back in time and made everybody forget their name, changing everybody's understanding of their name to the Doctor and the Master. So again, maybe he's telling the truth, maybe he's lying, maybe he's kind of, altering facts right there. Say, Doctor 1,000 times or over 1,000 years and it becomes your name. Yes, but that's not what he did. That's not what Jodie Whittaker and the Master said that they did. They went back in time and they deleted their name from existence for fun when they were friends. So again, kind of curious if RTD actually bothered to watch the Chibnall era. Just a question, though. Just a question.
The planet, parking that, 1,000 years, double parked. So, you're a doctor, but you're the police?
Police box. No. That's a disguise.
So, Ruby looks at him with kind of disgust for having a police box being called the Doctor. I don't agree all police are, not all police are bad, not all police are good. But to have the visible look of disgust and for the Doctor to be like, oh, hey, no. I don't associate with those two. Again, still not a fan. Still not a fan.
Inside, it's a time and space machine, but outside, it's like a chameleon. So once I landed in 1963, and he used to have police boxes on street corners.
1963?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, jukebox. I like that. Okay, so back to the planet.
My world is called Gallifrey.
Gallifrey.
So much info dumping right there. 1963. Hey, guess what? You don't have to watch An Unearthly Child. Hey, guess what? You don't have to watch the this episode, War Games. You don't have to watch, The Deadly Assassin. I'm just going to info dump all of this because you know what? BritBox has the rights to those episodes. And then I'm going to info dump some of the stuff that happened here also because guess what? HBO Max has the rights to those new episodes. The only ones that we really, really care about because Disney, again, not sure how much Papa Disney is in charge, but again, we're only going to be focusing on what we have available in the Disney catalog. That is the scary part about Disney playing such a huge role in everything.
And where's that?
Gone! Ruby, it's gone. It's gone.
Did not like that. Okay. Gallifrey, gone. Okay. Apparently, he no longer cares. He was an orphan. He was experimented upon. He, she, they, whatever, experimented on by the Time Lords. He is the victim. They are the victim. I don't like that. The Doctor should be mysterious. Legion has said it on numerous podcasts. Who needs to know the origin story? Let's just have fun. Let's go on adventures. Gallifrey's gone. It was traumatic, but apparently the only one that really cares now is the David Tennant Doctor, which according to RTD will not be in any future Doctor Who episodes because that's what he chose. And, I'm kind of almost fine with it to some extent. However, if the show is starting to struggle again, who is willing to bet money that they won't pull David Tennant out of retirement as possibly the only one, minus Jodie. Jodie actually says that she'll come back. But the question is would that be the pull? Or is the only pull to bring people back is David Tennant?
They died. It was a genocide and they died. So the one that was adopted was the only one left? I am the last of the Time Lords. And I am so glad to be alive.
I didn't like any of those lines whatsoever. The one that was adopted, no, you were found and then experimented on, but you don't have those memories. In fact, I guess a lot of those memories or whatever are dropped into the heart of the TARDIS, which may never be resolved. And you know what? If they don't, good. Unless they decide to undo every single thing that Chibnall did, taking away the Timeless Child, because again, you will have a situation in this episode where the Doctor will put their life at line to try to save everything. And I think what needs to happen is we either need to have, there needs to be stakes and worry. And the Timeless Child gives the main actor who plays the Doctor no worry because the only thing we have to worry about is, who will be regenerated to this time? There is no worry. We need the human companion. We need to make sure what they need to make sure happens. And I would love for this to happen. We need to make sure that nobody knows the contract for any companion. Go out, kill the first companion, kill Ruby in the first episode. Because that would be a shocker. The Doctor failed. They set up in this episode that the Doctor will fail. Something's going on with Ruby. She is the mysterious girl, similarly to Amy Pond, similarly to, what's her face? The only mysterious girl that we haven't had is, Rose. Donna started off as the mysterious girl, but then just became a friend. Martha was not the mysterious girl. We were just along the ride. Why do we have a mysterious girl that needs to be explored, examined, and looked after? Why can't it just be two friends in a spaceship fighting for truth and justice and the Gallifreyan way?
This thing flies. Do you want to see?
Okay, so we get that. I'm going to just scrap ahead because I will tell you, we get to this whole thing regarding the butterfly effect, and the doctor scoffs at the whole idea of the butterfly effect, at which point in time, Ruby steps on said butterfly.
Did I do something wrong? Because I'm Rubathon Blue of the 57th Hemisphere Hatchlings, and I do not do wrong things, Doctor.
But
if you have made an incorrect accusation, I will have to kill you.
No. Just wait a minute.
So she steps on a butterfly. She becomes some sort of butterfly creature, turns homicidal, because of course you would when, you step on one butterfly or whatever. The doctor proceeds to give this one butterfly a mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, I guess, because he puts in his hands and cups on it and blows. I mean, draw your own conclusion what could have happened there also. The butterfly lives. Ruby goes back to being Ruby. This was the first 5 minutes of the episode. We have the instant we get to around minute 12, I believe. Nope, not minute 12. About minute 12, we find that we have these space babies. And the instant they started talking in their strollers and whatnot, I immediately go and sigh, oh, come on. We're doing a Baby Genius storyline. You've got to freaking be kidding me. So we have these baby geniuses that are in their strollers, kind of subtle, not so subtle, abortion discussion, whatever. Don't care. Didn't offend me whatsoever. What really offends me about this episode is the end creature. Because you had this scary boogeyman that the kids were all afraid of. And you know what they should have done is this should have been created by the system. That the boogeyman should have been one kid, which the spaceship kind of used and turned into this thing. However, it whatever it did, it just created this creature, this boogeyman creature, out of the kids' literal boogers. And it was at this point in time that I just decided I can't watch the next episode. I cannot. The reveal of everything was just too much. We had the info dump, which needed to happen because of the Disney Plus audience that they're hoping to lure in, chasing away some of the older fans with some of this over-the-topness. Like, can't we just get back to classic storytelling? I don't think that this is classic storytelling. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. The partners in crime, kind of silly at sometimes, but there was mystery involved. There was evil villains or / somebody who did something that they shouldn't have, but they got their kind of comeuppance for their deception. And the doctor tried to correct this. The doctor saves this boogeyman that ends up howling like a werewolf at the very end as they're almost being pulled out into the airlock. It's just insane. Again, I would have loved for it to have been Ruby, to have been trying to pull this thing out into the airlock. She has this harebrained scheme that she doesn't tell the doctor about, goes out. The companion needs to be put in moral danger. However, the struggle with that is you're going to have a whole bunch of people being like, why is the female companion always being put in danger? Okay, then grab a male companion. Okay, but the companion's life needs to be put in danger. There needs to be some sort of worry, concern for their well-being. Because the Timeless Child, which Chibnall did and RTD has refused to undo, will never bring back any tension surrounding the Doctor's life whatsoever. Not even this death particle that happened in the Flux is scary at all. And it just goes down to, again, poor writing. And you have to wonder, at least I wonder with Space Babies, has RTD run out of ideas? Because you can kind of see some similarities personally between, Rose. Again, that was an introduction. There needed to be info dumps, but it wasn't as exposition heavy. Sorry, there we go. Thank you, Brian. Exposition heavy as this one was. And Christopher Eccleston owned it from the moment he entered the screen. And I just don't see Ncuti owning being the Doctor. There's one thing that kind of makes me interested to find out what happens with this, revolving around the snow that they both see, going back to the church on Ruby Road, the Doctor knowing that there is some person that is dropping her off there, and he even gives her a warning revolving around this situation. And I do like it. Let me see if I can pull it up. All right, here we are.
There is one thing that I can never do, Ruby, and that's take you to that church on Ruby Road that Christmas. Absolutely never.
But you've got a time machine.
If you change one thing, a single snowflake, that could change your birth mother's story, and then you would never meet me. None of this would ever happen, and we would fall into the deepest, darkest paradox, Ruby, trust me. I think that snow was a warning. I can't. And I won't.
Well, it's a pity. Because I disagree. And if you let me finish, we are going to go see my mum at Christmas. Right now. Come on.
Am Ruby found?
All right. So we have that. We have the whole mysterious scanner at the very end leading to the next trailer, which, again, I'm completely out on the majority of this season. Liam and Legion will be here for everything. I will be doing Boom episode 3. I will be doing episode 6. And maybe, depending on how I feel, I may or may not be on for the series season finale of episode 1, 7, and 8. Because, again, I just don't think Ncuti has the Doctor down. I don't think currently RTD has the writing chops anymore. The Star Beast was modified story from a comic book. You have the Wild Blue Yonder, which to me personally, some people said midnight. I still disagree, say it is a thing light like story. And then you have the next episode, The Giggle, which is very similar to how he ended the 2-part Utopia series. I can't think of what it's called, with the Master, this hidden sound, whatever. I think that he's copying his own homework at times, and I'm not sure he has what it takes to make a good show, which is why I want to be and see Boom, because of not Russell T Davies, Stephen Moffat. And then, of course, episode 6, the 2 brand new people who, of course, one of them directed some 6 episodes of Loki. Again, Doctor Who credentials, please show them. I know an argument would be, well, they got hired. There has to be something good. You'd say that, wouldn't you? But Chris Chibnall and his staff that he hired begged to differ. They said, hey, hold my beer. Let me show. Oh, you think that we were here because we were good? Oh, no. Look at this. We checked a box. That is what we did. And I understand that Liam mostly, I'm not sure about Legion, but is holding their hat on the stand that RTD has done some great TV pre-Doctor Who, during Doctor Who, and post-Doctor Who. So of course it's going to be good. As a fan, I had the hope, and maybe I've been burned way too many times by the Chibnall era, but now I've become kind of skeptical. Again, what do you think? Email the show at alhambraaudio@gmail.com. Tweet the show at Alhambra Podcast. DMs are open. I want to conclude with this, and that is the timescales ratings for the Space Babies. So, of the people who have reviewed it, out of 10, the average score for Space Babies is a 5. And the reviews are generally, 1, 3, 3, 1, 1, 6, 4, 7. That's high. 5, 3. Like those of them that have left the reviews, there's still more reviews to look at, but this introduction, the specials were not special. The Christmas special was, in my opinion, even worse. And the Space Babies, which should have drawn me in, did the exact opposite. I would rate this as a 3 out of 10. I do not think that this is a good episode. Now, looking at what the Timescales fans have rated the Devil's Cord, let's just see. So out of 10, the Devil's Cord got a 7.7 from the viewers of the Devil's Cord on the Timescales. And the majority of the people have voted with an 8 or higher. There's still a couple people, 8, 6, 2, 9, 8, 3, 9, 7. So the people that are reviewing it are liking the Devil's Cord a lot bigger. I just feel extremely let down, not only from the Space Babies, but also the specials, which were not. So that's my opinion. Email the show at alhambraaudio@gmail.com. Tweet the show. Would love to hear from you. Stay tuned for the up-and-coming podcasts from Dr. Who Alhambra Podcast, where myself, Liam Legion, and perhaps Robert will join us and discuss, review classic stories, Big Finish stuff, as well as new series things. You know the ones I'm in for, and you know the ones I'm out for. It pains me to be out on it, but you know what? I do not hate watch. I think that'd be phony of me to hate watch, unless I'm getting paid thousands of dollars. Then you know what? I will hate watch away. But until that day, I'm just going to be watching the ones that I am curious about and skipping all the rest. Thanks again for listening to the Dr. Who Alhambra Podcast. And until next time, I will see you in time.
It could have been a lot better. It could have been slightly better written.
You have been listening to the Doctor Who Alhambra Podcast. Doctor Who is owned and trademarked by the BBC. Doctor Who Alhambra is not affiliated with the BBC or Big Finish. No infringement is intended. Visit our website at alhambrapodcast.weebly.com or email the show at alhambraaudio@gmail.com. Tweet us at Alhambra Podcast. That is ALHAMBRA Podcast. Thank you.